First time I smoked with them, I think it was an OG granddad or something. I smoked with them. I was out, and they got mad dogs. So all they dogs lay on their couches. I pushed all the dogs off the couch. I just leaned up. I was knocked, yo. That put me out. I felt so good. Woke up like, yo.
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard. Told Jim I need a bomb I could drop on you niggas. Bad boy, I'm never gonna stop for you niggas. I don't give a fuck who you got is the illest. I solidify my spot with gorillas. Now I'm rock with you niggas.
All right, we back. My expert opinion, I'm not gonna put a number on this episode. This is a PSA for everybody who's been noticing the cannabis culture growing rapidly. Legalization spreading throughout the states, especially here in America. Well, here in America. And I don't think everybody understands what's really going on. So I got these gentlemen here today. My man Sab.
Appreciate it, bro.
Sean Bigger, of course, in the building. Did it again.
Corey.
I don't know why I'm Corey. Corey and Elliot. The name of your business is?
Proper RX and Liberty.
Right. Proper RX is the manufacturer, distribution.
And delivery.
And Liberty is?
And Liberty is a retail storefront in Humboldt County and a delivery as well.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, why are we here?
Talk about everything.
Yeah.
Let's dig into it.
Right. Cannabis, marijuana. I swear to God, hip hop has been the #1 promoter for, weed and weed products nowadays. And we don't have that full control, do we?
Not at all. Nowhere near.
What's going on in the market?
Well, I mean, as you've seen it grow, as you've seen it expand and become obviously more profitable.
Right.
We've seen brands created that didn't exist. And those brands have definitely tapped into our culture. And I've really used that to catapult a lot of those brands into the stratosphere.
Right.
Just involvement within the culture has helped those brands quite a bit. So, I mean.
Brands like Cookies.
Yeah, a lot of those brands definitely, being, rappers, affiliated rappers being a part of the creation. The culture is definitely influential. Definitely influential in our space.
Right. Well, are we doing the right thing with marijuana? What is marijuana's purpose to you guys?
Well, initially when we got started, and I think still at the backbone of what we do, is helping people. We came in during medical, and we were serving the truly sick and getting medicine to the truly sick at home, without them having to, address their issues and go through their issues to get into a dispensary. We made it so it came to them, which I think was a lot of the point. When we started, there weren't any deliveries. They were doing it like we were doing it. And in short order, you saw even dispensaries pick up deliveries. After, I'd say probably 3-4 years of us doing it, we started seeing it pick up in dispensaries, and everyone started doing it because it only made sense. For some reason, it was overlooked, though.
Right.
But you take during the pandemic, delivery was robust. It was robust. Our industry was deemed an essential industry, which is kind of crazy.
Essential.
It was essential. So we worked, the industry grew during the pandemic.
But not just for recreational purposes.
Recreational and medical.
And medical.
Yeah, and it just grew. The industry grew. People were at home. People had anxiety and all types of different things going on. and we were home for long periods of time. So, but through that, when you see a lot of other industries shrunk, cannabis industry expanded, and got really, really big and continues to grow.
What is the medicinal benefits of cannabis?
From chronic pain and insomnia to AIDS, cancer, you name it. I mean, it's in there.
And I fall in the category of insomnia. There's a lot of nights where I'm like, Jenna's like, go to sleep, why you still up? And I'm like, yo, I just need to smoke something now. I smoke and I'll find my way, you know what I mean? But I've seen documentaries of kids with leukemia and cancer, and their parents will move them to a state where it's legalized, and they will take doses and it will help them with their treatment.
Autism as well.
Yeah.
Autism as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think our youngest patient was probably 8 or 9 months. Was our youngest patient.
8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of people look at it and think it's just a leaf. Like it's mad different forms that it can be used in capsules.
And this child was having seizures.
Right.
Right. And it stopped the seizures.
Yeah. Definitely.
Wow.
They were having seizures. So, I mean, it runs the gamut. It's a host of things that that I see it applied to that I haven't encountered, but it actually applies. So, the human body is an interesting thing, and that product is also an interesting thing. So, they work together. We have an endocannabinoidal system within our body. Everyone has an endocannabinoidal system that engages this
you
product.
use big words, bro. You gotta break this down. The people are like endocannabinoid. Oh yeah, I read about. No, what is that?
It's like how we have a digestive system, reproductive system, integumentary system. We have an endocannabinoidal system.
And that's basically, there's a part of your body that is specifically designed to receive.
And engage this plant.
Right. Wow.
And that's on Google too. So I mean, for those who like to go.
Yeah, Google that. Google that. It's real.
That's real.
It's real.
Definitely.
I've been trying to get my mother to smoke weed for years, bro. Years. She has arthritis. And that helps with that also, right?
Yeah, but she don't have to smoke it.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to smoke it.
No.
I mean, for that, she could do topicals, but with something like arthritis, I would do like tinctures and topicals, inside out.
Yeah.
Again, with the big words.
Tinctures
And topicals.
and topicals, like Bengay. That's like
a
traditional,
rub-on.
just to rub on top of the
Oil.
on top of it, like
Right. That's what I was
oil
saying.
or
It's
balm.
mad different forms.
Or
of it.
patches. They have
or
patches,
patches
now,
that
too.
you just apply to the areas that
certain
hurt.
areas.
And you guys
The tinctures.
manufacture those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all of those things are ways for them to engage the product without having to actually smoke it.
Right.
There's stigmas with the smoking, but that's why I said it's more of a wellness product. So, she has tinctures that she can take, waters. I mean, it's a host of products. It's like, you name it, it's basically in that form.
Wow.
It's a host of products.
So people have speculated that legalizing marijuana could actually fix the economy.
Well,
Possible?
Depends
it
on
helped
the
our
rollout.
economy.
Depends on the rollout.
Yeah, and it helped California's economy drastically. Before I was in this space, I worked in social services, and I was running residential facilities for troubled youth.
Mm-hmm.
And they were furloughing us and all that stuff. And then the state started grasping it and regulating it and working towards legalization slowly.
Right.
And it changed. It definitely helped us. It definitely helped our state, and most states are seeing. I haven't seen a state that saw negative revenue to their treasury. I think it's all been positive and growing incrementally each year.
Well, I gotta say, growing up in Brooklyn, It's refreshing to bun a spliff in front of the police. It's great.
Really?
You just stand, and just look at them. It's wonderful that it's legalization out here now. But aside from the medicinal sides of it, big business. But who's in control? Because I feel like we, in our culture, the hip hop culture, we've done the majority of promotion for any type of weed or cannabis product. Who's in control?
Well, we definitely aren't in control. We're on the peripheries. We get a lot of promotional stuff. We might get a strain here and there, but we aren't on the level that would be almost appropriate at this point. Definitely, you don't see the representation. I mean, definitely not.
Not as far as like the CEOs of these companies.
CEOs. I mean, you will see a lot of people of color on the front lines. Bud tenders and delivery drivers or distributors and all that stuff, but you don't see much once you go into the back room.
Why is that?
Just the nature of that's how the industry has been. I mean, that's why you see they've created equity programs around the country to try and make what obviously has been unfair more fair.
Right.
That's been the purpose of it. That's why all of the equity programs have come out, to try and give people of color who have been targeted during the war on drugs and left out during the economics of cannabis. They've been left out of the economics of cannabis, so now you see like big cities, Los Angeles, Oakland, San Francisco, and a host of other cities. New York, rolling out equity in different versions in some way and trying to level the playing field and make it more fair, some way, shape, or form. Which is, it's an attempt. It's a part of it. You know what I mean? We definitely we aren't represented enough because a lot of us also haven't grasped it and looked at it as we should. So we haven't picked up the skills and, haven't branched out, haven't done a lot of those things, been quite content with, just some involvement and a check or something, I think that's been probably what's most abundant.
But you guys having your own company, I mean, what is it worth?
What's the company worth now?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine.
Yo, come on, man. Come on. The people need to know. This is an interest point.
In the scope of our industry, we're a small fish.
Right.
We're very small. I mean, you have colossal companies, you have corporate companies, you have publicly traded companies in our space.
Right.
We aren't in that conversation. We're a different version of those, because a lot of those companies came in fully loaded with specific goals. We came in grassroots in search of helping people.
Right.
Different models, different missions. So we just addressed it differently. Not to criticize them, but we just had different goals when we came in.
Right.
And if I would have came in with a host of investors behind me, I probably would have had different goals as well. But I came in by myself, doing it by myself.
As far as like the medicinal side of it, how many patients would you say you've treated?
Talking about close to 10 years worth of work. That's
Tens of thousands, probably.
Tens of thousands.
Yeah, we've served a lot of people.
'Cause
I mean,
Oh, no.
Yeah, 'cause most of the people we was doing deliveries to was all medical. It wasn't like it is. That's what I said. A lot of people look at it just to smoke and get high. If we was actually treating stuff. So all the patients and the people that was hitting us on the internet and we taking deliveries to, it was actually, they needed it. You know what I'm saying? To sleep like you and have pain, back pain, stuff like that. Headaches, migraines.
Our first few years our first like 4 or 5 years were 100% doctor referrals. All doctor referrals. Like I didn't have the means to advertise, and there weren't very much avenues to advertise in our space. Couldn't put billboards up. you couldn't do a lot of the
Because
stuff.
it was
that
still illegal technically.
it was legal in the state, and we had all the gray areas that still exist, but it just wasn't. Companies, corporate advertising and marketing companies definitely weren't embracing our stuff. So it was, you had to be crafty and figure out ways to get to it. We came in just solely on doctors, and I had doctors that I had engaged and shown what I do, and they respected what I did, and in short order, they started sending patients to me that they felt needed this product.
What would you say was a case where it would seem like a miracle that someone being treated with marijuana would turn around?
Joshua, remember Joshua? Gentleman who was
The paraplegic guy.
he had procedures for his nerves, could barely move.
And we had to give him well, not a miracle. I had a certain patient that anytime I would take anytime my drivers would go to him, I dealt with him at first, and anytime my drivers would go to him as the company grew, I would always like to send my new drivers to him.
Right.
He was completely like a paraplegic, and sometimes when his nurse or something wasn't there, you would have to like light it and hold it, because he needed that relief right then.
Right.
And every time one of my drivers would go to him, they came back to work in tears. Like every time, like whoever it was, they came back crying and like, this is why I do this work. This is what I want to do.
Wow.
Because you get to see for real, like you see what he going through until you walk in there, and then you see this happen, and then you see him just
relax.
And I mean, I'm talking snot bubbles.
Right. So what's the
nine.
contrast from him?
Like nerve issues.
Right.
So
Right.
severe
Nerve
pain
repair.
and convulsions and stuff like that. Yeah, it was
Right.
nerve issues. And he was wheelchair bound and bedridden, all that type of stuff, and
Great personality, though.
Yeah.
Great personality, real talk.
yeah. So, we've had patients that, had stage 4 and beat it, and through lifestyle changes and cannabis and all that stuff. We definitely had a lot of those. But
You said lifestyle changes and cannabis.
yeah.
What is the
changes.
lifestyle change?
Changing their diet, cutting out sugar, dairy, exercising, traditional stuff that we did when we were healthy,
Right.
that as we age, we stop doing and get kind of confused as to how come we aren't healthy anymore. So traditional stuff like that. But, when you're dealing with stuff like cancer and especially stuff like cancer, you have to be aggressive, because cancer is aggressive. So you have to take aggressive steps.
Right.
You can't half-ass. You have to go into it and step into it and change your behaviors, because it's those behaviors that got you in that spot.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to address it as such.
Right. Now, me having a brother that died from cancer, I will say the first time that he was diagnosed, stage 4, we did soursop, alkaline. He was at first against the cannabis products. I got him a couple edibles, and it'd be late in the night when nobody else is around, and he'd be like, "Yo, give me one of them." You know what I mean?
Let me see what's up.
Right.
And in 2 weeks, he was out the hospital. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I feel like there was more underlying issues as far as like mentally, but I saw the flip. So I believe in it. And that's the reason why I had to have to sit down with you guys, because I've seen it. And I think that people need to know about these things. So,
I think, sorry, not to cut off, but I think that's a lot of it too. It's like application. When you see it, then it becomes real. When you're in stage 4 cancer, or if you're fighting for your life, it becomes real.
Right.
You don't second guess nothing, because you don't have a choice. So it's applied to you. It's an experience.
right.
So
And we do things in our community, like over the years, I've noticed, like, when people in our community get cancer, for example, they go and get a biopsy. But when other folks get cancer, they cut that thing out, y'all biopsy that on your own, let me know after the fact. You know, they don't really like to do the chemo. We run into chemo. Like, I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not giving medical advice, but I'm just saying, like, that's the differences that I've noticed in our communities versus other communities. In the Bahamas, where I'm from, we are all about bush medicine and herbs and all that stuff. But when we get cancer, we kind of brush all of that to the side
Go chemo.
and go all traditional Western and don't even touch any of the other stuff, you know. I think it's a blend. I think wellness is a blend of modalities, you know. And health is that.
And you've seen a lot of results.
In cannabis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, there's so many different strains. Like, help me understand how this works, because sometimes I'm like, what kind of weed is this? And they'll be like, yo, this is platinum bubba. This
So
that's
not the strands. That's actually the names that they're doing. There's only
that's the
3
thing.
strands, actually.
There's only 3 strands.
Yeah, sativa, indica, hybrid.
Right.
And they use different names for whatever they grew to put it in that space.
Right.
So
But
it's
some are
still-
stronger than others.
Right, so it's still going to be a sativa, a hybrid, or indica.
Right.
It's one of those 3, and then within those, you have thousands of strains.
Yeah.
It's thousands of, different strains within those
Category.
3 segments.
3
segments.
Yeah.
What are the differences?
Indica will be more of a nighttime, couch lock, chill you out.
Right.
Sativa, more daytime, artistic, want to be busy.
Right.
Brain.
Head high, body high.
Focus.
Exactly.
Right.
And you have indica dominant hybrid or sativa dominant hybrid. So if it's sativa dominant, it'll have a little bit of couch in it, but it'll be more still like daytime and keep you busy, clean
Okay.
the house.
So I would assume for nerves, you go sativa,
You want sedate,
Right.
so you go indica.
you go indica,
Hybrid indica.
Right.
and sativa for
Well, sativa might be okay. So the uses vary, right? So for specific needs and stuff, now we're getting into terpene profiles and stuff. Now that's what the medicine. That's the true science in it. You know, it's the terpene profiles. So
the terpene.
yeah, why the products smell the way it smell. When you smell it and you smell like, I know y'all like sour diesel in New York, but sour diesel in New York, you know.
Right.
That's why sour diesel smell the way it smell, and it's an actual strain that's has a lineage. You know, it's real. You have hybrids. You have a lot of strains that don't exist in seed form. It's just crosses and cloning and stuff like that.
Are those strains? What is the difference between those strains and the ones that you can find in seed form?
Well, a lot of strains just have been crossed and made. They've been crossed and made, you know, a lot of them have. So no real difference. All of them still in that same family that Saab was talking about. All of them still in that same family of stuff. But now, I mean, as you see, we have a lot of flavors, a lot of variety.
Right.
Variety and flavors have gone crazy. It's like ice cream shop.
Whatever happened to regs?
Well, regs happened with, what they call that when all that was happening, they call it Arizona, Ari.
Yeah.
So they call it greens now. So it's still there. It's just everybody talks Zaza.
Yeah, we don't have eggs in those stores though.
No?
We have outdoor, but I mean, I guess that could be as close to regs as
Right.
you'll
That's what
find.
we get,
but
but-
we don't.
They call it block
Outdoors, close.
work. Block work.
And it's-
call-
Yeah,
we'll call
yeah,
it.
yeah. I know. It's the
anything-
dry one.
it's
But
this
you have
going on.
numbers in
But
outdoor too.
no,
Yeah.
it's not.
You can't call it
you-
reg.
I've seen outdoor that as good as any
Numbers.
indoor.
Yeah.
Numbers.
Yeah, that is potent as
Numbers.
any indoor as well. You know, so
Numbers.
it really depends. It's a different flavor a little.
Which one is better?
Indica is higher price. I mean, indoor is
Indoors.
higher price.
Right.
Outdoor
More nurtured.
is lower priced, but the quality depends on the grower. It always
That's what
depends on
comes
the
So
grower.
you could have an outdoor that's better than an indoor, depending on the
The
grower.
grower.
for sure, all
Yeah,
day.
the farmer is
day.
everything.
Yeah, the grower
Everything.
matters.
All
Okay.
The type of care they put into their
All
their
day.
work. matters, you know.
Trimming, like everything.
Recipe in the tea, everything.
Say that again?
The recipe in the tea, what they putting into the flower when they're growing, you know, all that matters. The attention that they put to it, that matters.
You guys been doing this for a long time, so I think that you know things that is like regular for y'all, and and everybody else is like, what in the tea? The what recipe? What did they put in that? What is that?
Well, it depends on.
It's a top feed mix that you make, normally molasses based, because the plant likes the sugar. You know, it's all the science of loving your plant.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what the plant needs. You read about it, you study it, you know what the plant needs, and you do it. You provide it.
It's like your baby.
Yeah, I mean, being a grower is
24
like,
hour, yeah. You can't walk away from it.
yeah. Yeah, you when you're a grower, you are a grower. You barely could be anything else. You know what I mean? Because the plants, when lights off, you can live. When lights on, you're locked in. You know, and that's how you are every harvest until you harvest.
What is the best form to ingest cannabis?
Depends on the individual. Some people don't like to smoke.
Right.
See, a
they
lot
don't
of people
wanna
around here
smoke.
vape.
So you can vape if you don't want to smoke.
Does the butane that they use to make the oils, does that taint?
Well, for
cannabis?
those who still using butane to make oil, most of the oils now are CO2. I would say mostly CO2. Not too much butane anymore. Butane kind of been phased out, and it will be, I'm sure, at some point all the way. So not too much of that. It's a lot of like live resin, live presses where you actually just pressing the raw plant, getting the resin off of it and smoking that.
Right.
Or cooking with that. Because you can cook with it, you have a host of ways you can do it.
What would you say is a healthy dose of cannabis?
So they have it at 10 milligrams right now. So that's how our industry is dosed for the recreational space in 10 milligrams. So you might have a 100 milligram bar, but it's scored in tens. It really depends. You know, what would be a healthy dose for a person who dealing with insomnia would not be the same dose that you would give to someone who in stage 4 or someone who have autism or something like that.
I mean, like, okay, Snoop Dogg smokes a lot. Is that a healthy dose? Like, is he smoking? Can you smoke too much, or can you ingest too much?
Moderation, I think, always is key in anything. You know, too much anything is bad for you. You could drink too much water and kill yourself. You know, so I can't say if he smokes too much. I see when he smokes only when I see him on TV, and I don't know if that's the duration of his life, but it's hard to say. You know, I mean, the worst thing I've seen happen is people fall asleep.
That's it. That is the worst thing. That is the actual worst thing.
And then it gets kind of worse than that.
Nobody ODs at all.
The worst part after that is if there's no food.
Yeah.
When they wake up.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. Now, with legalization spreading, you guys have been working on legalizing the Bahamas. How's that going?
Pretty good. It was a hard no when we started. It's a hard, firm no. People told me I was crazy.
Right.
Now we have 86, 87% support, you know, full support, you know, basically, because we're sick. You know, we have a sick country. You know, diabetes is rampant, cancer is rampant. You know, we have issues, and we need all of the resources we can find.
Right.
I mean, and you know, you look at the top 5 things that kill black people. I mean, just about every single one of them is treated with cancer. You know,
Treated with cannabis.
I mean, treated with cannabis. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah. treated
So,
with
so
cannabis.
all right. So how does cannabis assist with diabetes?
That's something that the doctors home really opened my eyes about. They're excited to really dig into it for wound care, and there's possibilities for wound care. But just breakdown of sugars is different. Yes, you see a lot of people who consume cannabis to slim in the waist.
Right.
You know, but that's the new frontier of our industry. That's now that all of the negative that was attached to it is gone. Now it's that research component. Who's going to come up with this this cannabis opioid? You know, like this true painkiller, or who's going to take it intravenous, or whichever direction people go with it. I mean, now that the research is starting to open up, we will begin to see, because most of the research that's been happening has been in private entities. You know, a lot of for specific goals. But now we're getting into more open research, so people will get to see more of what it really does and the applications. And that opens a lot more opportunity as well. You know.
Now, I've noticed that the cannabis stocks have taken a hit. What are the best stocks for us to look into? So you guys, I imagine you watch the market, you know what's changing here, what's changing there, how it's going to be affected. What are the stocks that we as a culture should be supporting?
Tough one. That is a tough one.
Take a second, take your time.
I mean, I can't name one that I would say that we as a culture should be looking at. We as a culture need to build up some of our own brands to do those things.
Right.
Rather than building up other folks' brands and we just get a piece of. So, I mean, if you're talking about the culture to say we don't have that. You know, you have a lot of, you have people of color, a lot of them that have come into the space over the last few years, and we're starting to get our footing. But it's still a long ways to go.
Yeah. From
Most
what
of the
I
corporate
understand,
companies.
Jay-Z has invested a lot into the cannabis culture.
Yeah, it's a couple companies in our area that I know he's invested in, and you know that's a good thing, and we need more of that. You know, but like I say, we need more brands that are actually from the culture. You know, to encourage us to build, and a lot more knowledge. I mean, the information isn't. They aren't going to drop this knowledge on us, so we have to search it out in some way, shape, or form, or have a way to access it. You know, and it's not only about selling cannabis. That's not only, you know, there's so many different facets to this industry that we can be capitalizing on. You know,
Like,
I mean, like you said, we do the marketing and advertising, but that normally come through other firms. Those could be our firm setting those up, setting those relationships up, for example, stuff like that. I mean, every aspect you look at our industry, we can, you know, packaging, the whole media and media content component of it, and building of content in our industry that every brand is doing. I mean, it's a host of ways. Like in the Bahamas, for legalization, for example, there are 25 industries that will have to either be created or will be impacted by. So on our list, I think 11 of the industries don't even currently exist in our country. So they need to come into the country in some way, shape, or form to help boost the industry.
so it also creates jobs.
A lot of opportunities. It's definitely an economic boom of good paying jobs as well.
Right.
Good paying jobs.
Right.
Good paying.
Yeah.
Good paying jobs.
You
Yeah.
put a number to it?
I mean, you look at what master growers are worth. I mean, well, you look in California, bud tenders, $15 an hour. You know what I mean? That's
Plus
the minimum
tips.
wage plus tips, right? And that's just that's entry level.
Right.
That's not as you grow or anything. That's just the start. That's once you hit 21, you can come into a $15 an hour
Yeah,
job.
I'm paying my bartenders $15 an hour right now.
What
Plus
are
tips.
what are bud tenders?
Bar.
Bartenders.
So people who
Oh, bud
so the
tenders.
When you go to the
bartender,
dispensary.
yeah, when
Yeah.
you go into the dispensary, the person who engages you
Oh,
and
okay.
gives
Tells you
you
what
a
the
look through the
strain-
menu
Right.
and takes your order. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything.
I went to one when I was in L.A.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
called a bud tender. Some people call them hospitality reps now, but that's what we call them. We have hospitality reps and hosts. Yeah.
What are the top strands on the market right now?
I think that depends on what
Sale-wise?
area.
Sale-wise or personal-wise, like subjective, like what we think, or
Right.
what
Yeah,
the numbers?
what you think? What you guys think?
Depends on who grew it.
What you got
That's so
out
real.
here now is what,
That's
gumbo?
so real.
Gumbo? Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I've heard about that as well. But like with me at this point, as long as I've been in the space and as someone who grows as well, depends on who grow it, you know, and how much, you know, and if they really grew it, you know.
Yeah, facts.
So they really grew it, you know, like
is
I grew
the-
all of my stuff, so I stood by it. You know, I could stand by anything that at the time when I was growing, we grew it. That was mine.
Right.
So I would put it up against anyone.
How many different strands have you grown?
I don't know, I think, so I started growing because no one wanted to sell me product. When I first opened, no one would sell me product.
Right.
I had like a handful, not even a handful, I think I had 2 providers when I started. And no one, you know, people would see me and say, we don't do business with people like you. So they didn't, I know it was self, so I was like, okay, well, apparently y'all feel like y'all the only ones who could grow. I'm from the Bahamas, boy, let me show y'all.
Right.
And went to work and started doing it. And it was through that where I started stacking up my menu and they were like, huh, and seeing it and smoking my stuff, ordering my stuff and trying my stuff. And then I kind of like made it in. I don't know, a clique that I didn't know about or didn't even care to be a part of, I made it into it somehow. And then I started getting people, you know, it's probably 5 years in, 6 years in, when we started to really have options for purchasing and stuff like that. And then I could phase out growing. Because it's impossible to build a business and be a grower.
Right.
You know, you can't do both. You have to either be a grower or you have to be in the retail and the other side of it. You can't do both. It's almost
Okay,
impossible.
so you guys are both growers?
No, I came in on after Elliot developed the business. I came in to help and build the business, manage staff, source, grow with it.
Expansion.
So right now, I've just been managing the retail space and assisting in the other projects that we help going as well.
Right. So, what's the main thing that you would want people to know about the cannabis industry?
That we need to get into it. That it's an opportunity for our culture, for real. It truly is. You know, in some way, shape, or form, as we sit, you know, you watch over the next, say, 12 months. How many more people that you didn't know or didn't expect or didn't see coming will end up in this space? You know, and we just need to come in on more in the back office, more in ownership, rather than just being a person that's there to help encourage more business to come to that entity. We need to grasp it. This is our opportunity for real. It really is.
Right.
Because like you said, we clearly run the advertising space and the marketing of these brands. They
That's a fact.
clearly come to us.
Yeah.
So they show us that the power resides in us. But as a community, I don't think we've grasped it in its entirety. And we should. You know, that's what I think the biggest thing is. We definitely we're missing an opportunity. Keep in mind, this thing started in 1996. Cannabis has been selling in this country since 1996.
96.
Yes. So
Legally.
since 96, you know, and look at where we at now, and look at what it is now. You know, like you said, you could stand up and smoke in front of the police. You wouldn't have done that
Right.
some years ago.
That's a fact.
Right,
That is a fact.
right. Perspective.
Plus now you can carry a certain amount on you and they don't really bother you.
Right. What about shipping? Shipping has always been an issue.
Still not allowed. Still
Yeah.
not allowed. But what you just touched on, I think that is the most important part of this whole legalization thing and the whole legalization conversation. It's less black men getting held up
Going to
and
jail.
ran through the system. That has always been, I mean, you could have never smoked and they say they smell weed in your car.
They can arrest you for a clip.
You see what I'm
If
saying?
you got an ashtray.
So now they can't engage you on that. And
Unless
that's
you
just
got
one
X
less
amount.
opportunity for them to cause us harm, get us away from our families. I think that has been the most beneficial component
And that was
of this
one of
whole thing.
the biggest reasons they had to stop the stop and frisk. They had that going on, and they kept catching everybody with weed.
Right.
And just going through the system every time just because they had weed, and they wasn't locking them up unless you had like a back warrant or something like that. Otherwise, you was getting fines. But a lot of people was getting caught up because they was going through the system.
No, they was locking people up for that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You get caught up, and then you go to the island and get another charge.
Yeah.
So you came there for a little corny weed, then you catch a charge, and end up being there longer than you're supposed to just
It
because
really-
of stop and frisk.
It ruined some lives. It definitely ruined some lives, man.
Definitely.
That's 100%. You know,
Definitely.
and now that's
I have
one.
I have a
that's one
cousin
less
just
thing they
came
could use.
home, did 10 years
For weed?
for weed. Just came home, literally a month ago. Did 10
And we've
years.
been open over 10 years.
10 years.
Wow.
Crazy.
You about to give him a job.
Nah.
That'd be poetic justice.
Nah, I'll actually set him up a company. I won't even give him a job. We do bigger things here.
How much of the weed that we have out here on the street is contaminated with drugs?
So that's not our call because it's, again, like we said.
No, I didn't say you. I
it
said
depends
how
on the
much.
grower. No.
weed
I'm
on
saying
the
I'm
street.
answering the question. I'm saying it depends on the grower where you get it from. Because now the Chinese is involved. It's like they bootlegged sneakers and Jordans and they bootleg weed, man.
Like
People spray and
if
stuff.
for youth,
Yeah.
if for
that's
youth
the
was to
thing.
go out, on the corner right now, to go buy them a dime bag of weed, what I'm trying to ask is, or eighth, that's what's popular in the community right now. How much of that weed, or if y'all don't know, is how likely is that bag that they're going to buy contaminated?
This is what I'd say. This would be my answer. Our products are lab tested, right? Before we ever could sell it to someone, it'd have to pass every single lab,
And we can do that for people.
right?
I know y'all are legit.
But no,
No, we have
this-
to-
this-
no,
this-
no,
this-
no,
this-
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 no, we
this-
answered
this-
this
Yeah,
question.
but this was a question
So
because
we lab tested, right? And that's why we lab test. And lab testing is really pretty new. It's really pretty new in the industry. You have, like, I'm from the island, so I mean, I know what you're talking about. Like, people
I'm from
doing
Barbados.
that.
We-
Exactly,
yeah.
you feel me? They doing them things. They spraying it. It
I
coming
didn't
from all
know.
kind of places.
This is how I found out. I was studying, and this devastated me, and maybe a lot of people in the world don't know this.
Right.
So I was studying the federal system. I'm, try to make myself aware of the federal laws and everything. So some years ago, and this was years ago, before the weed we have now. So the federals have two different charges for marijuana. They have a marijuana charge, and then they have a charge called high-grade marijuana. So I said to myself, what's the difference? If the feds is trying to charge you with marijuana, what is this high grade? And this high grade get more time. You looking at, it's totally different. So I looked into it and I started studying it. And it said the high grade was mixed with heroin and ecstasy and all type of other stuff, and that the crystals, and I remember the crystals back in the days when we would break up the weed, the little crystals.
It's still
They
here.
said that was the heroin and the ecstasy and stuff. I was devastated.
Because there's people that do certain stuff to their bud to make it stink more. So, because a lot of people go by nose, a lot of people go by sight. So even if you have a certain amount of weed, if they do certain stuff to it, and people open up that eighth and go, yo, this is fire, but they smoke it and it be trash and they get sick or something like that. So it came down to a lot of people using roach spray. They was using gas, like literally gas, to potentate stuff and have it sit for a long time. I had somebody that we was aware of that was actually using like a little bit of battery acid, bro. Like it was
So it's
it was
really
crazy.
so it's really dangerous.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm
definitely.
trying to get at.
Definitely.
It's really dangerous to go out on the street and buy a bag
right.
of weed. That's
So,
yeah.
to this
well,
day-
High grade in our space
Indoor.
is indoor. That's high grade.
Indoor, that's high
and
grade.
It can have a lot of crystals.
Right. A lot
Right.
of
It
the
will be
characters
It
crystal
looks like
out.
snow.
But
It's the same
with the federal government, I think they break it down.
They talking about the
they
true
they take the
modified,
weed and take it
And
to the laboratory
modification.
and they break it down.
Yeah.
But what devastated me was this was the regular weed on the street, and this was years ago. So this was not even this potency that we have out here right
Everyone
now.
wanted
Right
it
now,
to-
what we got out here now, I think everybody that know that smoke is not the same weed we had in the late 90s and the early
And-
2000s.
and it's so
Definitely
bugged.
not.
Something
The
totally
liquor-
different.
Definitely not.
The weed we had back then was Branson.
Yeah, everybody knew Branson.
It was like just a certain few. It wasn't all these crazy names that you heard now, and you get way more.
But you've had
It-
people travel the world.
Right.
What's that group called? The seed people.
seed hunters.
Seed hunters. They travel the world getting strains, all these landrace strains, because weed grows. It's
Yeah.
weed. It is a weed. You know, it's a weed.
Right.
And it
Fact.
grows like a weed, you know.
Plant.
And you go in these places and they go, and so back in the day, it was much more controlled and limited access. This is like, we doing in the billions in revenue in California. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is expanded. These grows, these people spending.
They
Like,
sell
this-
a
On
kit.
all aspects.
This cultivation is real now.
They sell a
30
kit that you can do it in your closet now. Man.
When I was
What,
when we-
make weed?
Yeah, grow
Put it
it.
right
You
in
can
your
grow it.
right,
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
right in your closet.
Nah, it's a fact.
Wow.
Yeah, we sell clones. You can get your clone of what you want, and you could grow your product yourself at your house.
Yeah.
I knew an artist that
timer if
used
you
to have trunks all over his studio. And one day I was like, what's in the trunks? Pop it open, it'd be a whole plant. And there'd be a whole bunch of them around.
You grow your own meds, treat yourself.
So how do you get your hands on lab-tested products that you know are safe?
All of my distributors, like
Yeah.
that is the cost of entry if you're going to cultivate. In the white market, you have to
Yeah.
go to the lab. You have to do an R&D at the beginning, and then once you sell it, like in bulk sales, if you sell it, then once that person or that company purchase it from you, they have to then take it to do the final compliance testing, and it has to pass that. So it has two rounds of testing it has to pass before it could ever get to the consumer. And like a fail is a fail.
Right.
A fail is a fail, straight up. This is trash. It can't go to the market, and you out of there. And the track and trace, they're able to know. You know, they're tracking pretty much every plant.
So I'm in New York. I want to get your products. How do I get them?
You fly to
Come to
California.
Kelly. Come to Kelly.
We just talked about you can't cross. You can't travel, man.
You just come and visit us, and we
come
take,
out, man.
You
Come
know,
out.
come,
Yeah,
we
I'll
take
come
down
out.
good care of you.
I got a reason to come out. And then, yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's the easiest way and the most efficient. Got to get the whole experience. Like you can't import the New York experience. You have to come and have it.
What are the prices? Like, what's the range of amount that I could come out there and purchase?
I think it's what, an ounce a day? An
An ounce a day?
Yeah.
So I can't buy for like 2 months?
No.
I mean,
No.
you could.
You can buy like
I'm just asking.
We'll talk
an
about
ounce
that.
Hey, you can buy an
And
ounce
it's
today by your
by state.
license.
Yeah, and right. It's
That's
per
just
person,
one person.
per
So
day.
me,
Right.
Mav come, and
Right.
him come.
Exactly.
That's 3 ounces.
Exactly.
Right.
And then if y'all come back tomorrow,
And that's
another
three
ounce.
more
Get another
ounces.
ounce.
yeah, you know.
We ain't
so it's-
saying when to leave,
Yeah.
but as long as
That's
you're
no
there.
suggestion. That's no
That's not a
suggestion.
Yeah, as
suggestion,
long
but
as
I
you're
mean-
there, we can give you an ounce.
But most people who come and visit to Cali and they go into the dispensary and sit there for a couple of days and they get an eighth, it's normally enough for them. They're normally,
Yeah.
they're normally trying to find someone to give the rest of that to before they leave.
go.
You know,
That's a fact.
It's,
That's a fact.
it's potent. You know,
And it's different. I
we
can
pride
honestly say
ourselves
that.
on our
Yeah.
on our
Right.
power.
Like if you go to get the corner bag, and then you come into our dispensary, you get one of our bags, you will definitely see the difference. You would definitely, like, we would make you go to sleep. You wouldn't have to worry about it. She would be like, wake
I
up.
think we need
You
to take
always
this show
sleeping.
on the road.
You always sleeping.
We need to take a trip.
You'll sleep good in our store.
And you sleep great.
But you got the good stuff that don't make you sleep too, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody wants to go to sleep all the time.
Like, like my recreational uses, like, I'll smoke and then, write or
Right.
create something. You know what I mean? With sativas.
Hell of a writer.
Sativa,
With sativas. Thank you, sir.
Hell
Thank
of
you,
a
sir.
writer. Hell of a writer.
On your focus.
Yeah.
After that sativa.
Yeah, that's sativa.
And
I'm
the sleepy, I don't like to feel the sleep unless it's late.
You up. Sativa, you up. Your brain is.
Yeah, I'm an indica 24/7 kind of guy.
Yeah, Fox.
Laid back.
I just,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
at this
It's certain-
point now, it
yeah.
just like I don't
Certain
even know if it.
sativas,
I have so much cannabinoids in my blood. I don't even know what like indica sativa. It just end up to the same thing. Like,
I just started in 2019, so
don't
I'm
end up
still
nowhere.
learning.
Yeah? Okay.
And it's subjective too, because some people they do get on that heavy hybrid indica run, and like you, well, you got insomnia. You wouldn't do that when you're about to write. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
No.
You wouldn't do the same thing for both.
Right.
So it's subjective to a point.
See,
you know
the
what I
problem is with the streets is most of the times you don't know what you're buying.
And that's something I was going to bring up earlier too, perspective and what caused it for us in the Bahamas is the knowledge component of everything. We do overlook that. We don't have to be scientists to a degree, but we should have a knowledge of what we're taking in, if it's tested or not, or even like if you look at it, if you squeeze a bag out here and you feel a lot of sticks or whatever, then that should tell you something too. But if you look at it and it don't look healthy, it's still a plant. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you something too.
And
It's
it's
just not
different
safe,
intakes.
It's just not safe.
Yeah, it really
Like
is.
if like
Be honest.
you have people who putting these stuff in it and that really messing people
regards.
up.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's
It's
serious.
really
Cold-blooded
messing
serious.
people up. It's a horrible,
It's a
horrible
health
thing.
thing.
Like you have people back home who, they be getting weed from down in Jamaica, and you don't know how much diesel tanks they've been in before they get to us. And when you see these dudes completely like go
Going
off the
down.
deep end and they don't ever come back.
When I saw the drugs, and I'm like, so that mean we on the drugs? That's the first thing, that you gotta think. Like, so if I'm smoking, pieces of heroin and coke, that mean I'm on it? You know what I'm saying? Like, like that, I ain't signed up for that,
You know what I take about weed that I love about it, and certain people say, or you on certain drugs, and as you get used to it, you try to chase another high. Weed is totally different because you could use that same bud, but you can intake it different ways to make you higher. That's what's great about it. So if you smoking a wedding cake or something like that, and you smoke it, and now you getting high, now you could put it in the bong and hit that bong, and it'd be different. Or you could liquid it now, and you could put it in liquid, or you could put it in the edible, but it could still be that same wedding cake.
Right.
That's what's good. When you hitting heroin and you going like you chase now and you crack, you're chasing that high, and now you're trying to steal stuff for it. You trying to, but weed, you
weed.
more laid back. You trying to just get high and chill.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? That's the great thing about it. That's why I said they say people get in car crashes or people die behind weed or go shoot people. That's a total.
That's bullshit.
But that could be the
what they say,
heroin
happy,
weed.
hungry,
That could
happy,
be the
hungry,
heroin
sleepy.
weed.
Happy, hungry, sleepy.
Happy, hungry, sleepy. That's a side
Because the
effect.
first time I smoked with them, I think it was an OG granddad or something. I smoked with them. I was out, and they got mad dogs. So all they dogs lay on their couches. I pushed all the dogs off the couch. I just leaned up. I was knocked, yo. That put me out. I felt so good. Woke up like, yo, that was
That's what's supposed to be.
amazing. Like I really had the effects. So my head got tight. I'm like, yo, effect. My head is squeezing my head.
Yeah,
Like,
you kept saying that. Like,
Yeah,
you said this. My head is mad tight. I said,
mad
you kept
tight.
saying
Like
mad
yo, my
tight.
head getting mad tight. What's going on?
So
Like,
it's true. It increases the circulation to your brain.
and it makes
mean,
you
you-
aware of
Yeah,
everything.
you
Yeah.
think, like, there's people smoke and they want to talk. Back home we call it reason.
Yeah,
When people
you sit
smoke,
down
they
and
want to reason
reason.
with you. They want to
Yeah.
talk.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That creates that with you.
I performed many speeches in front of Jenna late night. Just out of nowhere, just
Yeah, breaking down something.
like 15 minutes long, and the shit sounds like
gotta get a mic
the most
stand.
genius shit ever. Like,
You
Like
gotta
I
get a
did that
mic
shit. I
stand.
did
Put the
that.
mic up. There you go.
Word.
Get on the mic.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's how it do.
no, it'd be some genius shit, bro. Real
You gotta
talk.
record it, man. I always have something to record.
Well,
Catch it.
have we covered everything? What's missing?
I think he cover.
More people can contact us that need manufacturing, distribution. They need branding. We do it all.
Starting a brand. How hard is that?
Well, that's kind of what we've been focusing on with our manufacturing and distribution in Oakland. I've been turning that into a brand house. So we've brought, since last year, I think it was 10 black families I brought into the cannabis space with the two branding. They have their own brands, 2 different brands we created.
What are the name of the brands?
Jonkanu Farms, which is Jonkanu is a celebration back home, Christmas time, big African celebration, and then Clutch Bahama.
Clutch Bahama.
That's through a partnership of a Bahamian doctor down in South Florida, and so yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We could do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of the back end stuff. We do a lot of the sourcing, and we make it happen. Like. Whoever wants to reach out, like that's what I'm really trying to push on that because we are underrepresented.
Right.
And if they want to work and push their brand, that's the type of stuff we want to do. We want to build brands and because the big push, as all the big companies are headed towards some form of going public.
Right.
That is the end goal for just about. My Liberty dispensary, like we're in the process of doing a renovation up there to totally change the aesthetics to make it more franchisable.
Right.
To expand across the country. So, that's the end goal. And that will be like the next Bitcoin in the community too, But
Yeah, definitely.
will it reach to us?
Right.
Or will we just be hoping to invest and get a little piece?
Right.
Will it be our offerings?
How do people contact you guys?
Best way would be, I guess, by email. ProperRx at Gmail. I'm sorry, proper PROPERRX at Gmail. I would say that's our best way. Our social media, they always shut us down. So, but our Gmail and our email is always consistent. They can also call us direct, 510-559-0970 is our direct line in Oakland.
One more time.
510-559-0970.
I know they say it twice in the commercials. You gotta.
You gotta make sure.
Right.
Appreciate
that, man.
Right.
Yeah, but feel free. We're always interested in even just sharing the information, sharing the thoughts, and helping people understand what they need to do.
I think YouTube channel is in order.
Could be, yeah. That'd definitely be cool.
Since we're working on the brand, we could work on that too. That'll definitely be a plus. I want to say thank you guys
Appreciate
man.
you.
for coming
Appreciate
out.
you, for real.
Thank you for educating the people.
Appreciate it.
I think we have a better understanding of what we're smoking and the future of it. If you're smart, get in now. Good looking, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
And we out.
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. the work, you heard. Making fiends leave earth, you heard. Got your baby mama thirst, you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf, you heard.